Video today. This is a bit of a be continued because I'm going to be doing this probably on Monday, depending on if my supplies come in on Monday or Tuesday. So right now we're still waiting for two items. First things first, my name is Kenneth Bird. My company is Crystal Edge Technology Screens. We are the makers of Supreme 12, the Supreme Exotic Ambient Rejection 15, and also to the Advanced 17s, or Advanced Ambient Rejection 17s. So tomorrow I'm going to be doing some tests. Now, if all my stuff comes in tomorrow, we're only missing two items. If everything comes in tomorrow, I'll basically just put this to the side and get my customers' orders come first, get them taken care of. If nothing does come in tomorrow, I got two things that I need my containers, and I need two other special ingredients we do to make the 12, and that's what's supposed to be here next week. So next week we start shipping everybody out. But until then, there was a fellow who came on YouTube, and as I said before, other people that are making their own screen paints, I don't mind, I don't care, as long as you don't mention my name. Because if you mention my name and that term, I'm gonna bring you in this area where we do our testing at, and we're not gonna cut corners over here. Your screen will fail, and if it doesn't, like I said, I'll be surprised if it doesn't. But yeah, if you're gonna go side by side to a 12, you have to go through all the stuff that 12s and other screen paints we make have to go through. And I've seen this demonstration, this fellow mentioned me, and he mentioned the other fellow. I'm not gonna say his name, but you know he is. And he said I wouldn't buy from either one of them. Bottom line is, you could do it yourself for basically $50. And when I saw in the demonstration, he did nothing at all. All he did was just paint something on the wall, put it in a dark environment, hit it with a projector, and that's it. He didn't run any tests at all. And before you mention my name, you should have did some research on my company to see exactly how brutal my tests are, and number two, exactly what I put my screens through and the different variant of screens we designed. But I guess this guy didn't do his research correctly. So it just came here today. It's downstairs in my kitchen, and it is silver paint. It is actually, now keep in mind, there's three companies that make this paint, and there's probably a couple more to make it too. But you have PPJ, that is from Home Depot. You have M&M, that's usually from Amazon, or you can get that over at Home Depot. Used to carry it. They used to carry it, don't carry it anymore. And then there is the Martha Stewart, which is way back when Home Depot, that's all they carry was Martha Stewart products. All right, so let's go over here real quick before I go downstairs and open up this box and show you what we have in this box. I got the one called M&M. Now, the one M&M is more expensive. It's a more high-grade version of silver besides PPJ. This one is an actual more expensive. You want to get this stuff as a gallon, it's like $100 a gallon for this stuff, and that's just a starting price. It goes up even higher after that. All right, so let me see. So here's the video right here. And like I said, all the testing that he missed in his demonstration will be done on our end, how it's supposed to be done. And as I said before, we record all our tests, from distance throw to ultra short throw to long throw, the different forms of projectors, high lumen projectors, the whole 9 yards. You can't just make a product or basically claim you have a product and you don't do any testing at all. You just basically just turn off the lights and that's it. And like I said, I've seen a few people in the comment making comments about the product hot spotting. One of the other problems was the fact that they were asking for an ambient light environment, actually more light. And as you can see in the demonstration here, he just has the window here. That's it. The overhead light's not even on. And then he has the screen painted to a very small with a very thick border. Means he's bringing the image as close as he possibly can and smaller. I said when you do smaller images, what happens is the pixels are tighter together and the bright image is actually a lot more sharper. I don't know why, if he was going to paint a screen, why he didn't fill it all the way out from here to here. I'm pretty sure he had plenty of room to put a much bigger screen than that. And that's why the border is so huge. Now, in our test, we're going to take that technology, it's not even technology, it's hobby paint. We're going to take that hobby paint, and that's what it's used for. It's used for decorating furniture and so forth. We're going to paint a large sample sheet. We're going to stick that right next against our technology here, as you've seen right here, displaying on against a white Elite screen. And keep in mind, I've done this demonstration already against 3 certified projection screens. We did the Matinee Silver, we did the Seymour AV 1.3, and we did Daylight's new Pure Silver screen too on top of that. And it just couldn't take it. Now, our screens were able to produce contrast, color, all those different sorts, and the other screens couldn't do it. They couldn't pick up the contrast correctly. And we also did that on a projector, the Panasonic we have over here at around 1500 lumens. We got it somewhere. So we got plenty of toys over there to play with. And if that screen hotspots, that's the projector that'll do it. But I hit it with 6,500 lumens. So, like I said, as he has me down here at the bottom, as in he mentioned the other person, and he also mentioned him that you can save so much money, but you haven't done any of the testing at all whatsoever. You skipped a ton of tests. Not only did you skip a ton of tests, but you know, you turned around, you didn't, this is not ambient light rejection. That's not an ambient light rejection environment. Our screens are tested outside. So I guarantee you, I'm curious to see. It was not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. I already know from the door. If we had high performance sample sheets and they couldn't even pull colors next to our technology, we know this is going to happen. So we're going to debunk this fellow's theory who made that comment. You know, next time you open your mouth about someone else's product, I would suggest you really do the research first before I'm not trying to embarrass you, but you will be embarrassed when I get done with you. When you see the test that we have to put our products under, you're going to be embarrassed pretty badly. And that's why I said, do not paint your screen with this stuff. It's nothing like our technology whatsoever. And if you're trying to compare it to our stuff, that's not going to work. Keep in mind, I got more light in here than I have in his whole entire environment right now. So like I said, you in for a world of wish I would have mentioned his name. So let me show you what we got downstairs in the box right now. And mind, this is where his screen sits. You saw the demonstration where his screen sits at, right? And I hope he's watching the video. This is where my screen sits at. My screen's 126 inches. There is no big black border around my screen. It's just all screen. Nothing protecting it. Big bay windows right next to it. Look at the snow that's coming outside. We just got snow. And look at this. Look at the size of the snowflakes out there. They're freaking huge. People do that when they try to get a little publicity or whatever. I don't know what it is. I don't got a lot of, I have some subscribers, a lot of subscribers. I don't want a lot of subscribers and stuff. I'm happy with what I have. I don't ask for a huge fan base. I'm happy for people to come and watch my videos, you know. But if you're going to mention my name, and I tell people don't do this, and you haven't done the test, and from what I saw in his demonstrations, no, that product, what you're claiming that does the same thing as ours, it's not going to hold up. Not even to a 12, not even the blue. Football highlights, just for fun, because it's Super Bowl. YouTube, football highlights. Alexis wants to be in. Let's go in here for a minute. There we go. She has her moments. She has her moments.
So Jake from State Farm, you're saying you don't have... Up the ramps, a 2-3, Brady floats it, he's got Evan. What a throw and a sliding catch.
And this is what I'll explain to this certain individual. You see how my environment looks? My screen is at 126 inches. You see how thin the border is around my screen? It's very thin. It's about that thin. That's nothing but screen from edge to edge. You see how my screen sits next to two big windows. Not with the window sitting here. His window was sitting here and the light pushing this way. No, there's actual physical light in contact with my screens at all times. See that overhead light? But your screen sits in the dark. So I guarantee you, it's not going to do well. Let's go over here and show you what we got in the box, people. Now we're going to test that against a 12. That's what we got today. I don't know how the other one's going to handle it, but this is how I handle it. Here we go, buddy. This company right here makes a better product than PPJ. So I could have went and got PPJ, but then that makes it pointless. I got something that was better than PPJ. And even with this being better than PPJ, there is no way in the world this is going to ever be able to go against a 12. A 12 is going to pull a much better color level, as in reds, blue, greens, and may pick up a better white level, but it's not going to pick up those colors. On top of that, when it comes to contrast, this is going to get murdered when it comes to contrast next to 12 technology. So we'll do this tomorrow because it's, I know some of you are watching football, and right now I got some things I got to take care of myself right now. So this is going to be done tomorrow, but for the fellow who shot that video, yeah, that's a big mistake, buddy. And keep in mind, like I said, I've already done demonstrations against Seymour AV 1.3 on that screen, demonstrations against the Matinee Silver and Daylight Pure Silver screen with a 2.3 gain, and they couldn't even stand up to that screen. So what point is this going to have their chance to be to stand up against it? Let's pop the top open and have a look inside real quick. I know you're a bit curious. You can tell by just looking at the top of this. So let me bring you guys down a little bit. Oh, and by the way, your screen that was sitting in all that dark, there's my screen right there from a distance. And all that light pulling up, and you can see the game crystal clear from here. See, the minute I saw him, when he turned out the lights and he called himself, turned on, had the lights on, we didn't lights on, and he was trying to show was doing the same thing our screens were doing, I was like, nope. And the same thing, if Daylight Screens, Black Diamond, any one of those big companies mention my name and any kind of video, guess what? I'm calling them out. Bring what you have. I'll put you against a 12 and see what happens. As a matter of fact, if I want to be brutal, I'll stick you against a 21. 21s are actually being designed. That's the screen is going to be engineered with that sun killer technology. So any one of those big companies, if you feel free that you want to do the same demonstration, you want to go against my technology, now I can tell you, this is going to do extremely bad. I'm calling it right now. I'm looking at it. This is not going to do good. I'm calling it right now. That is not going to do good at all. Now, what I mean by M&M, the company that makes this M&M, what I mean by this is more expensive, that PPJ, that stuff is like water. So if you paint that on your screen, you will streak the daylight side of your screen. That's why he didn't do an up-close shot when he was painting the screen, because you just saw the streak marks in the screen. This is, you paid $50 for a gallon. This stuff right here is $60 a quart. This is the high brand of this. This is actually better than the Master Stewart, and it's 10 times better than the PPJ. And this thing still won't withstand against our screen. Let's pour some of this in here real quick so we can see. Right there. I want to do this right now. I am tempted to do this right now, just to blow it out of the water just now. I'm thinking about it. Would I ever use this in my technology? No. It'll block the code. That's why. I told you it goes beyond the surface. We couldn't use this if we wanted to. It would block the code. This would have some problems. You can tell by looking at it. All right. Let's see what time we got. We got a little time. Look at this coming down. This is going to be crazy. Look how big the snowflakes are coming down. We just got rid of snow. We got more snow. But like I said, that's God's will, so you can't say anything about that. We'll paint this on this right here, because this is lightweight. This will hang against my screen. We'll turn that to a giant sample sheet. That's interesting. If you watched anything about the Wizard of Oz, do you know that the silver that they put on the Tin Man caused him all kinds of skin allergies, because that was actually real silver they were putting onto his skin? We can do this with a sponge. Not to get messy doing this. You're not gonna pick up any contrast on this, and I can tell just by looking at it. You're not getting anything from this. Now, could I alter and change this? Yeah, I can alter and change this. Easy. Easy to alter and change. Could I code it? I probably could. Probably could drop a code in it and change it. But I wouldn't code it to this color. If I was going to code this, I would code this to something weird, like a weird, strange color. Oh, and on top of that, the smell. That's another reason why you got to be careful. It has a very strong smell to it. So imagine, I'm painting this little piece right here. Yeah, and it's already got a smell to it. Can you imagine me painting 120 inch? Nope. No, I wouldn't dare. It stinks. It has a very strong smell to it. Let's see how long this stuff probably takes to dry. God, that's strong. Oof. Trigger off another day. I finally get rid of my my little problems today. What I mean by problems, people understand that. Like I said, I have anyone who suffers from respiratory issues, you know, you go through some bull crap you got to go through. And one of the things I got to teach myself is I can't eat certain things. So I can't have cheese popcorn. I can't have anything with cheese or no dairy products because that builds mucus up in my chest, and it makes it hard for me to breathe. And I haven't had cheese in so long, it's not even funny. I haven't had a bowl of cereal in so long, it's so funny. So I just decided last night to have some popcorn, cheese popcorn, and it caused my lungs to get glued up a little bit. So last couple of days, I've been taking my my prednisones and my inhaler and a little bit of that Mucinex. I know I said it incorrect, with some hot tea, and that pretty much breaks it out for me. And this is the one day I got a day where I get up and I feel great, and I'm working with this mess. I don't like the way that smells. I wouldn't use it if I wanted to. It stinks. It has a bad odor to it. That's really bad. If you don't believe me, you can buy it for yourself and you can smell it. It's not, it's ugh. It has a bad smell to it. Put this over here. Okay, all this is going in the trash right here. This stuff comes up in my hands. Somebody wants. I mean, you gotta be careful. People do some dumb stuff and don't test. I had one guy on there with someone using oil base. Yeah, okay. Can you say the word toxic? Yeah. Sorry about that. Come on, man. Just one of them just go in. Thank you. Excuse me. Bad. One. So, put some little feet on the floor. Hold up a minute. Kim, put some feet on the floor. I don't want this to take flight, lift over and hit my floor. So I'm trying to keep it there so it doesn't flip up and hit my floor, mess my floor up. But that should be good where it's at. I doubt it's going to take flight. Hopefully it doesn't. We'll get that to dry. Once that dries, we'll throw it up against the screen. We'll do a color run real quick. We got time. I got to get back to what I was doing. I wanted to just sit down and relax today. That should take no time at all. Hopefully it doesn't take any time to dry. think we'll hit it with a Christie 505. We'll hit it with one of those 5,000 lumen projectors. We're going to hit it with. I want to make sure that's thoroughly dry because I do not want that thing touching my black screen. And I can tell right from the door looking at it. And like I said, I'm going to call it right now from the door. Color's not going to pick up. It's going to pick the white level up. Any of the colors I throw against it, it's going to fade automatically from the door. And contrast is definitely not coming up on that. That's what you're getting at. That's not going to happen. I think you realize our screens are dark. Our screens are designed to pull contrast and they're ambient rejection screens. All right, so while we're waiting for that to dry up, you can just come in here and check out my screen. And I hope he's watching this video because I'm going to show him how ambient light projection technology and how it works. And by the way, fellow, this screen is blue. So I don't know how in the world you put a silver screen in the same category as blue screens or green screens or pink screens or brown screens or any other screens we developed. Interesting. Try right back. one right there. Some remote control for someone to. Someone on this one. Okay. So that's just peachy. All right. We got the so it dried on the bottom, it dried on the top, right? Here it is, dried on the top. But we got some smeared on the bottom, so now we have to dry this too. Sorry about that. Can't let it get last way like that.
It's just olives, isn't it? I mean, I literally couldn't imagine a more beautiful vessel for a vessel to be inside. But I'm looking at this one's in a cup.
There were 16 tablespoons in the cup. Babe, who's that? Why you doing it? Who's that?
That's it. That was my place.
Honey, I already ran the sprinklers. Things get way too wet around here.
Didn't like.
Yeah, that stuff would be too expensive to turn into anything. Number one, like I said, for a quart of that stuff, it would cost you around $60. So you have to consider the fact that when you make a screen paint product, you have to make sure that everything you put inside of it is going to have to be affordable, because that's going to affect your price. That's going to affect on how much you make and how much you take away from your expenses. So at $60 a quart for that stuff, a gallon of that stuff would cost you about $100. That's just $100 for a silver. Once you start reaching other colors and you start talking about $150, $160, and $300, that stuff is very expensive. But like I said, if it costs you too much money to make, and you can't charge them much for it to begin with, then you got to consider shipping costs and labels and ink and everything else that goes into making a product. Containers, all that stuff has an overhead charge. You got to consider all that. You have to make the product enough where it's going to be reasonable enough that you're going to make enough profit. They're going to have a good product and they have to pay a lot of money. And then you got to factor in all the other stuff that goes along with it that makes the product. You know, and then you have to find out there's enough resources of that product before you start making it, because then you could come up short like the 8 did. When we had certain areas we couldn't make it anymore because we just couldn't find the resources to make it. There's a whole lot of factor that goes into it. And then once you do finally get an item that actually you can make, now you got to figure out if it's going to pass the test. Because like I said, it could fail in number one of those tests. It might not pull up outside. It might not pull up inside. It might need a certain caliber projector to use it inside. And this is why I'm sitting here with a 720p projector I paid $59 for, and you're watching dolphins and fish explode on my screen in a fully lit environment. Not sitting in the dark, not having windows pushed in another direction saying this is ambient light projection. It's supposed to be the same thing. No, this is how it's done. Man. I tell ya. I don't know how in the world that he came to the conclusion that that product was anywhere near any of our technology. Since you didn't run those tests correctly, I will. I'll do it for you. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint this. I had this on a good size. This is actually a much larger sample sheet than what you get from most companies. That's a larger sample sheet. Would I paint that on a 120 inch? No. Would I paint on a 100 inch? No. Because the smell that came off of that stuff was pretty much knocking me out already from painting on that little square piece right there. And I got respiratory issues. I'm not pushing that. That stuff is, it's nah. in a few. I'm gonna have to. Is this the one with the battery pack in it? This thing feels so light. I don't think there's a battery in this. Is there a battery in here? Let's see. It's not that one. So which one does this go to? This is not the one upstairs. I lost the fire stick now somewhere. Somewhere I lost one. I know that's the one that goes here. For this set right there. So that's that one. Yeah, I lost one in the house somewhere. I don't know where. But by the time I find it, that'll be dry. Interesting. The whole entire time I'm sitting there hitting this clicker, trying to figure out why my remote control is not working. It's got to be somewhere in the house the whole entire time that was the remote control batteries were dead. What I want to make sure on here, because like I said, I don't want this transferred over to my black screen. So I want to make sure that some paint got on the back of this. I want to make sure it's nice and dry because I don't want this coming up on my screen. Take away my contrast on my technology. All right, let's go. Color change and demonstration we're doing against the white screen versus our black technology. Now keep in mind, as I said before, it's not the first time someone has done this already. They don't mention our company's name, but people have done this already. I mean, you got people go to Home Depot and Lowe's and they see a silver paint and they think, you know, it's do the same thing. But that's when they do their demonstrations, it's just them and what they figure out. You don't mention someone's name unless you basically know exactly what their company is all about. Like when I do against other high performance projection screens, I research their companies. I research their technology, I watch their videos, I study how their stuff works, and then what I do is I basically get the sample sheet here to see how it measures up against our technology or anything we're building and designing, and then I go from there on pretty much figuring out exactly where those screens may flaw to strengthen our screens on those ends. Guys showing up to an army without a Trojan horse or a strategist. All right, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to come over here. We're pretty much done with the big screen for right now. So we can take this down. We're done with that big boy. Yeah, I hit my head on this a few times. One, two, and three. Go. I'm done testing on that one. Ouch. Oh, it's right over here. I was like, where's it at? I don't want you to see this yet. Oh, come on. I already know the outcome of it all. There you go. Told you. It's no. It was going to happen. I told you it was going to happen. We just tested 3 certified projection screens. Certified screens, not hobby paint. This is a hobby paint. This is used for people to do details and stuff on trains or whatever artworks they're doing. It involves a little bit of Silver Metallica. That's what it is. This is everyday paint. There's nothing behind it at all whatsoever. It's going to fade. It's not going to be the pickup color. It's going to pick up a white level. That's as far as it's going to go. But trying to pick up the deep blues and the contrast, that's not going to happen. It did the exact same thing. If I put up any one of the other high performance screens, it's going to do the exact same thing. It's not going to match a 12. It's a 5,000 lumen projector I'm using right now. You see what that's doing to the screen? It's causing the screen to wash out because there's too much light reflecting off the surface. Even with the technology they design in silver screens, those screens are designed to pick up a certain amount of tone so the image doesn't wash out because it's like reflecting off. It's like if you go outside and you take a mirror and you move it back and forth, that reflective image that comes off it that blinds you, that's pretty much what you're getting right there. Let me do his homework correctly. White screensaver. Like I said, it'll pick up the white levels. That's not a problem. But everything else, not gonna pick up on it. So listen to this particular visual. Do not make accusations that you can't back up at all. Your theory on basically going out and get a $50 paint or whatever. I got a paint that's actually more expensive and a lot more advanced than the PPJ. It's called M&M. It's a more advanced version of a silver product, and it does cost a lot. It costs a bit. It's like $60 a quart when that PPJ is like $50 a gallon. This is a more high-grade silver than you was using in your demonstration, and it still failed on our technology. Goodbye, my friend. We're not in here to hear your comments. Anybody else? All right, okay. Bye-bye. I see you. All right. Goodbye. You got a bit naysayers in the room that want to run their mouths. Goodbye. We don't have time for that. And you want to say picking on? No. I'm defending. If you're going to say something nasty about my company, then I'm going to come in here and back it up. And if you, and the problem is that when you fail, when I back it up, don't get upset about it. You mind your own business, like we mind our own business, and I won't have to do this to you. Now, to sit there and make an accusation that using a $50 paint would be the exact same as a 12, does he know his colors? Does he know a 12 is a black screen? And this is a silver screen, so how in the world would that even compare to a 12? So don't get mad at us because we defend our company and because we can back it up. That's the same thing at Black Diamond or any one of those big companies want to sit there and make a challenge against my technology. Guess what? I want to back it up. That's what I'm supposed to do. And that's what I'm doing right now. Not with that cheap PPJ nonsense. I went out and bought the real deal. I bought M&M. That's the expensive version of Metallica. That's what it's metallic paint. It is. That PPJ is like what, $50 a gallon? This is $60 a quart. And it still doesn't even pick up against a black screen. You know why? And I'll tell you why. Because our technology has code in it. As I showed you with the pink, the blue, the brown, the plum, the green, they all have codes in it. This doesn't have code. So, like I said, go ahead and paint it on your wall if you want, you assume you want. That's what you're getting from your projector. And keep in mind, that's a 5,000 lumen Christie 1920 by 1200. Even more interesting, you're looking at my technology in a fully lit environment. Look how much light I have in my environment. I told you if the reds weren't going to show up in that color demonstration I was showing you with the different colors, if that wasn't going to show up, nothing's going to show up on the screen. But wait, there's more. For you naysayers, this right here I have in my hand, you see this technology here? The one that's so black you can't see through it? This is a 17. 17s are designed to have light pass through them. See how dark that looks? How amazing that looks right there? Can't see through it, can you? Look at my hand. You see my hand behind there? 17s can have light transfer through them. Isn't that interesting? So no, when you naysayers make these comments about being close to my technology or God's, right quickly, it's not mine, I gotta stop saying it. It's God's technology. You're not even close. You're not even anywhere near even close on how the stuff is made or designed. Can't see through it, can you? But I can punch an image right through this and push white light right through it. And those are 17s. This is a 12. So the problem when you have a screen like this is just that straight silver. The problem you have there is the fact that it's like kind of like trying to watch a screen that's made out of that kind of safety reflective material. You're pushing way too much light off the screen. There's no balance there. And because there's no balance there, you're getting this white snow image. You ever been snow blinded before? Walk outside and the snow is so white reflected off you can't see anything. It's called being snow blind. That's what you do with silver. If that was the case and it was that easy to go out and just get silver paint, then you would have big companies like Seymour AV and companies that design silver screens would be out of business. There'd be no technology behind what they do. But you have to be to back it up. Now, mind you, I can use contrast demonstrations right now, and I can blow the screen clean out of the water, but I'm not using contrast demonstrations. I can use bright white demonstrations, nice, beautiful colors, something that a black screen is not supposed to be to push up. And this screen is lighter than my screen. Yet my screen is producing beautiful colors and balance, and the colors pop. That's what black screens are designed to do. So if you think you get that from a lighter screen, no. What you get from a lighter screen is higher white levels. But you put that next to a black screen and you will see where that screen will be flawed. Can't pick up the contrast, and if it can't pick up contrast, your colors are not going to pop correctly. You're not going to get them deep blue, reds, and greens that people desire. You're not getting any of that. That's why you got to go calibrate your projector. Anybody tells you need to calibrate your projector, it's because the screen's lacking. All right, let me do one more. I gotta get some things to do today. Got much to do. 4K LG. There you go. Like for instance, real quick, for those of you, you ever had a comic book? I'm pretty sure you had a comic book before, right? You ever see the detail and the dark blacks that they put into those action figures to make them stand out to give them more detail? Now imagine if they swapped that out for all white. What that would look like. Couldn't get any real depth, more detail to it, could you? You have to have contrast. Contrast is important for everything. Can't pick up the color of the sky. Not there. That's one. Let's go to this one. It's a nice light bright demonstration. Can't even see her arm when it passed through. The screen's reflecting too much light. It's not designed to be a projection screen. Way too much light. You can't even pick up objects. Look at this when her arm passes through. Yeah, it's the equivalence of literally if you were to paint your screen with that reflective material that they use for basically on your sneakers or for jogging. That's literally what it looks like. It is producing so much white light, it's not even funny. At least you can just soak your tracksuit into it and pick a jog. I don't think anyone's going to hit you with a car. And then I love how people are saying, oh, but you call yourself a Christian. You're not supposed to be acting like this. Oh, let me explain something to you. You really need to crack a Bible and start reading it. Because in the Bible, God had warriors. Yes, he did. David was actually another warrior he had, and he slayed Goliath. So God's people weren't meant to be walked over top of. If you read the Bible, he had many warriors that fought underneath him. And for his name. And they shed blood too. Even a soldier out in battle can be a Christian. Many of my family members that are military are Christians. This is not going to go well, I'm going to tell you right now. This demonstration is not going to go well. Not for the silver screen. It's not going to go well. Like I said, my projector behind me is a 5,000 lumen Chrissy, 1920 by 1200. It's a WXGA projector. If you can't pull on this projector, then you ain't pulling on anything else. And if I want, I can hook up that 6500 lumen projector, and I got a 7000 behind me also. This is the reason why when you buy a projector, and the projector specifications, people look at what's the contrast on this projector. They don't look for the white levels, they look for the contrast. That's what you're paying for deeper, darker levels. Make the color pop. That's what you want. Nope, we don't need that. No, we're done. All right. So sorry for any of you who went out and painted your screen with this paint, with that silver paint. Boy, if you hit the, I'm not trying to laugh at you or anything, but man, if you hit that with a projector, good God, this thing's going through a hot spot like crazy. We don't have a big enough surface here to pull off a hot spot, and I couldn't imagine. If it's actually producing that much light that you can barely see it, yeah, that's going to be bad if you hit that with 5,000. You hit that with 4,000, even 3,000, that's on a hot spot like crazy. Let's do one with, make it a little brighter for it. Sony 4K demonstrations. Let's see. And I'm not even going to play around on the bright side anymore because we already did that already. So now we're going to go over to contrast because our screens can do bright levels and contrast. There you go, up close and personal. How faded that image looks. Well, with that being said, I'm done here. There's no point wasting any more of my time trying to run any tests or demonstrations on this because it failed miserably. As I said it was. I called it before the product even got here. I told you what was going to happen. When I did a test against the Seymour AV 1.3 or I do the Matinee Silver or Daylight's Pure Silver screen, and it couldn't even hold it to those, you know, from the door. I already knew what was going to happen. I called. I told you what was going to happen. It was going to produce the white levels, as I said. All the colors were going to fade and wash it on it, and everything else is basically going to be a blinding, piercing image in the middle of your screen. Yep. Well, there you go. Well, with that being said, thank you all for your time. I got to go, and God bless. And just be careful what you paint on your screen because, you know, your investment, it's your investment. It's your money. You know, if you want to mess it up, you mess it up. Keep in mind, whoever painted the screens with this nonsense, and you know how much time it takes to paint a fixed frame screen? Number one, you have to put it off the wall, assemble the screen. That's what you're going to have to do. You're going to have to retape all your borders, and you're going to have to recoat that screen. And hopefully that whatever our formula does, we can paint over that and it will actually fix the problem. Sometimes that might not happen. Sometimes you might have to prime the entire screen and then repaint our stuff over top of it. And that's pretty much what I would suggest you to do. If you actually did paint your screen with this stuff, that you may have to prime that surface first and then put our stuff on top of it. All right, I gotta go, and God bless.